Appreciate it.
Wondering any health updates on Dylan Parham and the running backs?
Parham?
Yeah, well, not Dylan Parham. I'm sorry, Andre James and the.
Yeah, he'll practice today. Bennett and Hobbs will be out, and then Zamir and Madison will be doubtful.
You're doubtful, sir?
Doubtful, yes, sir.
Is there any hope for Jack Jones to play? Or is he
He'll practice today.
With Andre practicing, do you think is there a scenario where even if he's able to play, will he be back at center? How will that work?
No, we'll stay with the same 5.
Is that just, I know you mentioned earlier this week, just the value of having continuity that you're trying to build with the offensive line by sticking with the same 5?
Yeah, just continuity. Unless something drastic changes today, I don't see changing lineup. They've been practicing well the last couple of days together. We'll keep it accordingly.
AP, when you're on a losing streak, are you looking for something to say, or is it just really say nothing and just stick to consistency?
Work. Just got to work. Be consistent. Come to work every day. Continue to get better. The word I said last week was no different out of the bye week was improvement. Looking for improvement. That's happening. Again, it's happening in practice. But obviously, we got to put it on paper come Sundays. But that's the word we're talking about. A lot of young players playing, more opportunities there. So between improvement opportunities and process, which is a word that nobody likes to talk about, but it's the truth. Is where we're at right now. Just really building on those.
How do you personally stay upbeat, happy, keep leading these guys?
Keep trucking ahead, man. Horse blinders on, look forward, can't look behind me, can't worry about the past. Trying to win the game this week, right, against a divisional foe. Somebody we know very well, feel comfortable with, and obviously we feel like we match up well. But we got to take care of the ball penalties, and at the end of the day, when we have opportunities in the red zone and on third down, we got to be better in situational football. So those are things that we worked on this week. Excited about where we're at. We'll see how it looks like today in the red zone. But just keep working.
I think the Broncos have 6 players with at least 3 sacks this season. When you look at the production they're getting across the board, what do they do well that's allowing them to have so much success?
Good team defense. Who's the star? Who's the star player there? Doesn't really matter, right? They play team defense. Everybody's involved. Everybody's active. Everybody's doing their part. It's all coming to them, and that's a credit to their staff. Really a credit to their players. Really just buying in and really just all hands on deck. And a lot of it's scheme. Sometimes it's an individual player making a play. But I think they're doing a really good job with their scheme, mixing guys up, and they're getting teams in third downs that's more favorable for their coordinator to call these pressures.
Last week, the offense was noticeably better. How much better are you expecting with just another week working together?
Again, I'm going to go back to what we talked about, this continuity, chemistry, getting a feel for Scott Turner. I think Scott's doing a really good job, really good presence, good calmness about him, constantly talking to the players and reminders throughout, especially at the quarterback position. Take what's there, first, second read, okay, cool, let's go ahead and get the check down. Obviously, only the defensive player touched the ball in no way or no fashion. But just consistency. I think with having the same 5 O-linemen again for the first time in a long time, having those guys there, the quarterbacks were pretty healthy on the offensive side of the ball, obviously outside of running backs. Feel good with what we're doing operationally and what the plan is for Denver.
And last year this defense finished on a strong note. Gave up the 9th fewest points in the league. It hasn't turned out that way this year. Do you have any explanation for that? And how much is the offensive struggles, especially the turnovers? I think you guys have given up 19 touchdowns off of those turnovers. How much has that contributed to this?
Yeah, well, that same defense is not here. Players, injuries, that first and foremost is called a spade. That's the truth. The other part is, the opportunities for takeaways and turnovers, we've had those, right? There's been some balls that's bounced and tipped, and we're that close. And that's been our season so far. We've been that close. And I think it's just constantly just reminding some of these younger players that stepping into these roles. I mean, we talk about O-line play, let's talk about a linebacker. There's been multiple guys playing next to Robert Spillane, right? Getting that comfortable this week. Multiple DBs now playing in the backfield. So chemistry, continuity, getting everybody up to the same page. And again, just what do we do well, right? Is it zone, is it man, is it pressure? And a lot of that does change with the personnel. So, I think each and every week is very fluid. It's evolving each and every week, each and every day, to be honest, the way the season's going. But, is it disappointing? Yeah, I would say so, because everybody expected what we saw there in the season, but 51's not out there, 94's not out there, 1's not out there, 0's not out there. There's a lot of guys, 39's not out there. You're missing pieces, and no excuse, but if you want to ask me direct, that's part of the problem.
Yeah, and what the offense too, the struggles offensively, because I think you guys are in the fourth quarter giving up the most points in the fourth quarter, but probably some not wilting, but you know, you're bending a little bit come that fourth quarter. And so how much of the offensive struggles kind of contribute to?
Team struggles. I'm not going to put on offense. Team struggles, to be honest, because last week the offense was moving the ball. They did a good job, and we needed some stops in the third quarter and the fourth quarter defensively. We didn't do it. Right? It was the one game where we say, man, offense gave us a chance to be competitive in that game throughout. So really, it's the team overall. Some weeks, especially we have block punts, right, and other miscues and things of that nature. So it's really been a team effort of what's going on the last 6 weeks, and it's going to take a team effort to turn this around and get a win.
With the dreams, you talk about next man up. I guess in the backfield, it's next man up. There's a couple of guys. Do you have a plan of how you want to see them operate, or is it more hot hand, or what do you want to do with the running backs?
Well, if the two running backs are not able to go, Abdullah will be the starter, right? We'll go there. You got Dylan there, and then we'll see what's happening with our practice squad player in Sincere. What will be the plan? The plan is to see who's productive and try to run plays that work for them. Those are three different backs that have not started this year for us, but played. So we got to do what's best for them, but at the end of the day, it's not going to come down to the running backs winning this game. It's going to come down to the guys up front, us making plays on third down, situational football, taking care of football and penalties.
Coach, you spoke about young players, and obviously we've talked about it the entire season. The Raiders have a young roster, but now not only are you depending on young players, but you're also depending on inexperienced players. So how much of practice goes into that mental preparation and making sure that it's not too big once they actually step onto the field?
A lot. That's why between meeting times, which is 2.5 hours a day before we go out to practice, 30, 40-minute walkthrough when we get on the field, walkthrough when we get off the field, and more meetings. Can't do it enough, to be honest. And it's just, how do you get there? It's repetition. And that goes for all of us. It doesn't matter what level, what profession you're in, you need reps. And you can't speed up that count. We only got so many hours in a day that we can do that. And it's got to take a little bit on the player, a little onus on him to put in that effort and time when he leaves the building, mentally. But physically, you got to trust what we've been doing over this 11-week process. It was a season, and that we get these guys reps in developmental. We're very competitive with our scout team. That we've seen them run full speed now. You got to go with the X and O's and what we're trying to do with the scheme and apply that to the game.
And just a quick follow-up question, how much of it depends on the captains like Robert Spillane and Max Crosby within the actual feet game to be there and be vocal?
Oh, no, without doubt. I think it's always critical. I just mentioned a little earlier, when you have Robert Spillane there, you plug in another linebacker, you feel good because you got a guy that's played and he's played at a high level and knows our defense and can fix the problem when we have an issue. Same thing with our secondary. I'll use Trayvon, for example. When Epps went down, Trayvon had to pick up that role and be more vocal. And on the offensive side of the ball, it's all hands on deck because there's been so much going on over there. But I think we do have a good core group of guys that have played at a high level, who are professionals, that understand what we're trying to do, understand the culture that we're building, and what we want to do from a scheme and schematic standpoint, that when we got a younger guy in there, they only can do so much. And again, I'm going to go to that player, whoever that ex-player is, he has to be ready and prepared to be a pro and come ready to do his job.
Dylan Lobby's a feisty guy, and he's got a chip on his shoulder because he knows he made the mistake, not at you, at himself. How exciting is it to see a kid who has that chip on his shoulder get another shot? Because you've been there.
Yeah, I said this before. I don't throw away young rookies. I prefer them not to play until later in the season, where we're at now, to allow them to get up to speed and understand how to practice. Because certain things that show up in the game show up in practice, right? If the ball gets punched out, it probably happened in practice, right? So just getting that ball security right for him. But the one thing you don't want to do with a young player is beat them up mentally. Because once you lose them, how do you get them back? It takes a whole offseason to do that. So we have not done that with Dylan. Dylan has had his head up. Obviously, he's disappointed in the performance that he had last time he played, but we're excited to see him play this week.
That's good.
All right.
Thanks, AP.
Thank you.